Battle of COVID is not over. Follow the SOP. Hello and welcome to Be Positive with Bally episode number 17. Now before we get started, hit the subscribe button, click like, click share, hit the bell icon, do the entire mumbo jumbo which happens on YouTube. And this is episode number 17, and I need to inform everyone that episode number 20 will be our episode finale for season 1, and we will be back with season 2 very soon with more content, new ideas and a different approach. Now our guest for this week, she is a fashion designer and an artist. She does an amazing thing. The minute you give her a brush and colors, and every single thing becomes magic. And she is in France. I'm going to be having a dialogue with the amazingly talented Hyacinthe Kaur. Let the dialogue begin. Hi, Hyacinthe. Hello. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, Bally. Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Okay. So now, before we get started, how's everything in Paris? You're in Paris?
Yes, I'm in Paris at the moment, and we're going into autumn, so it's very rainy, but it's lovely. Paris is always amazing.
Now, how is the pandemic over there?
It's up and down. You know, there's always cases, and then it goes down. But everyone is keeping safe. We all have our mask when we go out. There's the gel that we use all the time, so things are going fine. There's not too bad.
Okay. Now, let's get to the questions. You are an artist, a designer. So could you elaborate on, in what do you do in more specific to those who are watching?
So I am a fashion designer first and a muralist, an artist. So I had my two companies, which were Hyacinthe Kaur and Shantiraya, for about 8 years. So I graduated and I just dived right into it. I started my two business. So as a fashion designer, what I do is I design Indo-Western clothing for women who want to stand out. It's not very subtle. It's a bit loud. It's very colorful. I love designing different outfits. And as an artist, as a muralist, I use a lot of techniques as a fashion designer in my work. So you can see a lot of applique work. It's very 3D. So I use fabric, I use embroidery, sequences. So it's very shiny and colorful. So that's what I do. I've been doing for the past years.
So that's for 8 years. 8 years, you said.
Yes, I was working for 8 years, and then I took a 4-year break to focus on my family. I had a little baby girl. So currently, actually, I'm starting to dive myself back into the business. So it's good to be back.
I'm sure that, in your career or your profession, you are right smack at the center of fashion, so the fashion city of the world, I must say. So I'm sure that opportunities are definitely going to start coming in more. I've already checked out your website. Then there is already one project you already did. It was a really nice black and white design. And, congratulations. And I'm really hoping that, rooting for you to make it big in Paris. And
hopefully.
Okay, so every single time a profession like a pilot, his routine is like suit up and he goes to the airport and flies the plane. Now, an IT person, he goes to the office and sits 9 hours in front of the laptop and fix all the issues. So, how's your routine like?
So my routine, when I was working day in day out, it was just basically eat, sleep, and work. I was a workaholic, but I loved it so much. But I love working so much that I didn't really have a social life. I didn't have friends. I didn't have many friends because I loved working so much. So basically, what it was just working from Monday till Sunday, working in the morning, meeting clients later on in the afternoon. And then I used to paint murals in the evening. because sometimes when I used to paint restaurants or even offices, I could only paint after hours because I needed the space, or I'm sometimes a bit of an introvert, so I would really prefer painting alone. So it was just working non-stop, day in, day out. So that was basically my lifestyle for many years. So that's
Right.
what a routine is.
Now, you mentioned murals, right? Now,
Hmm.
those who do not know, we're going to be posting up some of our work right now. It will be flying out through
Right.
the screen. So, how long, how long does a mural take to complete? I see there's so much of detailing, like the one restaurant in Subang,
Yeah.
Big Sing. So
Yes.
I've seen that one, and I've also catch the
Hmm.
one which is in TTDI as well. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of detailing. So I see a lot of colors. There's a lot of textures as well. It's just not
Hmm.
paint. There's so many things and
No.
elements inside.
No.
So when I'm
Yeah.
thinking that before speaking to you, I was like, how long does it take? So how long does it take to make that?
So for me, when I usually start a project, I give myself a time limit of 1 week or 1.5 weeks because yes, yes. I mean, that's the one strong point of me is I love working on my speed because,
Mhm.
time is money, Bali, when you're working on, in any profession. So if I were to take longer, then, I could only manage a few projects in a month. So I usually put a time limit to 1.5 weeks. So that's how that's how it's done.
Okay,
I
so
know
now
it's a one man
the
army kind of thing.
exactly right. Now, for me, I'm nothing close to an artistic person when it comes to using my hands. I can't even
Right,
doodle. I can't even doodle properly. I can tell you that. Okay, so now you said 1.5 weeks to the max.
Yeah,
Now there
yeah.
must be one which has been probably the longest project, or maybe like the most longest period you have spent working in a piece of art, or can be a mural. Which one was it?
Uh, Maybe it might have pushed to 2 weeks. The one I did in Big Sing Chapati, it was a huge peacock and it was so embellished. So embellishment took a very long time to finish. And what happens is when I work, I get a bit carried away, Bali, and I start doing this, and sometimes a client has paid for this amount of embellishment, but I get so overwhelmed that I just keep going and going until I feel like, okay, this is fine. I think this looks perfect. So I think that part of me as an artist, just wants to, only finish when I feel it's done. So I think the one in Big Sing Chapati, the peacock. And
Yeah.
if you're speaking about what is the longest project I've done overall, I think it would probably be when I design for brides, when I do bridal wear, because that usually brides will take about 1 year usually, because the bride would come back to me, would come to me way earlier, and then as the design process, then I would take trips back to India to have the cardigans and my tailors who are over there to work on it, and then back and forth. So usually for a wedding, it takes about a year. That's the max I've done.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bouncing off, because
Exactly.
first initial idea, then you present the first
Yes.
draft, and from
Yes.
there, okay, that
Yeah.
takes a lot of patience. To be honest, if someone comes and asks me to make something, okay, I'm going to say, okay, here you go. No, I don't want this. Then after that, you have to go back to India again and come back, and then here you go. I'm like, no. Then you understand that that's
I
because
know.
you
I
see,
know what you
it's the
mean.
biggest. It's the biggest day of the bride, so I can understand where they come
Yeah.
from. But your
But that's the
patience, oh
thrill,
my
isn't
God,
it? That's the thrill. I
I'm with
get
you.
this adrenaline rush when I'm working with the bride, when there's a problem, and I get so excited even when there's a problem, because like, okay, let's solve it, like, can we do this? Can we do that? So yeah, I think you just get addicted to the rush, to the drama, to the chaos of the weddings. So it's fun. It's very fun.
Right. Now, let's jump to a small section, just to make it fun. So I
Uh-huh.
name it the fun questions, pretty obvious. So,
Right.
okay, let's just go through a couple of fun questions. Though the
Right.
first one is your biggest celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. Okay. It wouldn't be physical, but more mentally. I have a huge crush on Manish Arora. He's a designer,
Yeah,
and
of course.
I love his work. So my biggest celebrity crush would be him, I think.
All right. Now, the next question. This one is a bit tricky. So, if you were given a chance to
Mm-hmm.
go back to the future, that means you can go either to the past or
Mm-hmm.
you can jump to the future, and it can
Mm-hmm.
be in any. It can be on any timeline, right?
Okay.
So maybe it can be the Ice Age, Stone Age. The pharaohs.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if you want to go and see what happens in the future, in
Mm-hmm.
100 years from now, and you can get to live there for 1 week. So the question is, would you choose to go and live 1 week in the past or 1 week
Mm-hmm.
in the future? Which one would you choose?
I think my answer would be the period when it was the 60s, I feel.
Hmm.
Why? Because I think it was like in fashion. Because I think there was a lot of chaos going on in the 60s. There was a
Yeah.
lot of movements. In fashion, there was like the chicness of fashion. So,
Hmm.
with all this mini skirts, it was the era for that. So I think that. And socially, there was feminism, there was the civil rights movement. I think it was so like exciting, and it was a lot of electric and energy.
Hmm.
And also music, there was the Beatles, it was the hippies. So I think it would be 60s. I think that's I think I would thrive in the 60s.
Right. Now, are you a cat person or a dog person?
Oh my god, I'm a dog person.
High five, high
We've
five. 10,
always
10,
had,
10.
yeah. Oh,
I have
some cat
three.
people are probably going to kill me, but I don't like cats. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Okay,
afraid of them. I try,
everybody
but they
has a
always just
preference.
like they just they just scratch me. I don't know why they don't like me. So anyway, yeah, I have a little Shiba. He's a Japanese dog. So yeah,
Hmm.
we've
I
got
have three myself. Yeah. So I have one which is like the house pet. We got it. We got
yeah.
him about not even a house pet now. He's like family, right? So for 10 years, and
Never house
then
pets. They're all family.
yeah, the family. So he's like my brother. So and then we rescued two more. So my
Oh,
wife
that's nice.
rescued two more, and
Mm.
so they live with us as well. But apparently they much more suited for the outside or just to guard the house. So yeah, it's a
Mm-mm.
pretty funny combination. You will check out on my Instagram stories.
As long as it works.
Okay, now this is not rather a fun question, but a much more deep question, a serious
Okay,
question. So
let's get deep.
if what would make the world a better place if you could choose or change one thing about it?
Uh, I think it would be. There's a lot, but I think there would be consciousness,
Mhm.
because I feel like people really need to be conscious about the environment. They need to be conscious about how they make people feel. So I feel like if everyone is a bit more conscious about themselves and the environment, it would be so much better to live in. Wouldn't you say?
No, it's true. It's true
Yeah.
because if people can be a little bit more conscious about the SOPs, I think not only in Malaysia but
Exactly.
everywhere around the
All
world. It's just
around.
that
Exactly.
suddenly the numbers goes down, and then you
Yeah.
become very relaxed and you're very
Yeah. And
complacent.
then you're like, oh, it's fine. Mm.
And then what happens again is that 2 days back there was a spike in Malaysia, and then now
I've heard, yeah.
everyone stopped going to the malls. It's just suddenly it's like ghost town in the malls now.
Yeah.
So I think no, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And now let's get back to the questions about your work and a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about your journey. Now
Mm-hmm.
everyone has a style.
Right.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
has an angle of their work. So what
Right.
is your style? What defines, or how do you define your style?
Right. At the moment, I would say that I'm still searching for my style, but from a lot of the work you see, I could say that my work is very, in a word, I would say eclectic, because it's a mix of a lot of things, especially what I've gone through in my life. Like you can see, we're in Malaysia. It's so rich with culture, so I sort of pick, a little bit of everything,
Mhm.
and then Yeah, I think it's very colorful. It's very embellished because I love embellishments. So you can see a lot of embellishments in my work. It's very exotic. Some people would say it's very ethnic. So yeah, I think it's eclectic because it's a mix of a lot of different things. I think because of my childhood, I went to Chinese school, and then I grew up in a kampong, in a village, and then my mom used to be a seamstress, so she used to, stitch Indian clothing. So I think I have a bit of everything, and that's what I put into my work.
Now,
It's the style.
what is your inspiration behind your work?
Who is my
What inspires you?
inspiration? My mother. Oh, she's the most amazing woman I've ever met, and I think I would ever meet. Um, it was from her that I actually got inspired and got, the courage to become a designer because she was a seamstress, and I used to be so exposed to how she used to be with clients, how she used to be so passionate about working. She used to do designing. There was fabrics all the time. It was so colorful. She was very hardworking. So I think she would be my biggest inspiration in life.
Right. Hyacinthe, the balance of life, is a difficult journey, right? Like when you have work and then you have family as well, being a mom, and you have to be there for your child, as
Yeah.
well as myself, right? I'm always like, finding ways to balance between my work,
Yeah.
whatever I do outside, and also my
Mhm.
kids. So how do you balance, your work time and also your family time? How do you balance that?
That is a very difficult question. um, 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 Honestly, Bali, I don't have a perfect answer for that because I just, after being a mother, I had just, dived into starting to work because so I'm still finding my balance in it. But I think you have to prioritize and plan everything out, like make a schedule. So like my day would be wake up in the morning, it's mommy duties, breakfast, this and that, and then she goes off to daycare, and then I work until I pick her up, and then when she's in bed, I'm working in the night. So I think it's just you gotta find, your balance, and I haven't yet, honestly. When I do, we will do another session on how to
Okay,
balance your
right.
work life and your family life. Yeah.
No, that's completely honest answer, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You just come in and
I don't
just
have
tell
it
what you.
together yet.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Thank you so much for that
You're
honesty.
most welcome. I'm human.
No, we all need to be a little bit more honest. And I think that will make expectations, or that will make people
Yeah, it's
lessen down
reality.
their views or judgments on us as well, and
Yeah.
that's really important. Now,
Yeah.
two more questions before we wrap this dialogue up. And
Okay.
now, uh, you know, I'm sure that when you started your journey as an
Mm-hmm.
artist, you probably would have developed that since early, when you're young. That
Mm-hmm.
you have this way of drawing, you have this
Right.
artistic style, and now,
Mm-hmm.
how do parents know that their child is gifted in art? So, for instance, if let's say the how would you know that a child has a knack on drawing, or being an artistic person? It's quite difficult to find that, or to just pick that up. So for me myself, I really do not know what will be the niche, or how do I spot that. So do you have an idea on how parents can pick up if their kid has a gift in art?
Mm-hmm. I think with it depends on the age because if you're speaking about very young kids, it's very hard to know because Belly, you have got kids. One
Hmm.
week they want to be a fireman, and the next week they want to be a pianist.
Yeah.
So it's a bit difficult to judge and say, but all I can say is when they're at the age of where they have reason, I
Hmm.
think at an age where they have reason, it would be good to put them in different workshops. You could be put them in the music or in dance, in art, of course, or even a working experience. I don't know if they have that in Malaysia, but in Paris they have this thing called working experience, where kids can go for summer holidays to work at the zoo, or they could work at a farm. So there's or even a digital agency. So that, I think, it's a way of exposing them to different fields, and then I think there would be a point where they would sort of, show it to you, or show you interest of which path that they would want to go through. But I think all we can do is to make sure that we expose them to as much as possible, because if they don't know about arts, then they would never know if they were good at it. So I think our job is just to, sort of show them a direction of, this is your options, there's this big options. And then I think you would sort of, you would know if your child is, showing interest, or telling you that, I really like arts, I would like to take more art classes. And I think, it's little signs like that
Right.
figure out.
I think that's a good advice. And working experience could be a good idea to have that in Malaysia. I think we do not
Oh
have
yeah.
that here, and that will be
No.
really a good advantage to
Yeah.
better cultivate the kids from the start to say, okay, this is
Exactly.
what I want to do, and no
Yeah.
matter what the job can be. It can be a zoo, like I would say, like a zookeeper, or works in a
Yeah.
zoo, or even do something which is completely out of that whole typical stereotype, right? Doctor, engineer, lawyer. I think that
Yes.
is
Yes.
good. I think that's good, because sometimes when I'm watching a doctor TV series, Grey's Anatomy, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So so my daughter's like, oh, I want to be a surgeon. Then suddenly, she sees like the patients will be in a critical status, right? So they start
Yeah.
puking out blood,
Yes.
and then she like start crying, and she starts screaming out, no, I don't want to
No,
be a
I don't
surgeon.
want
I
to
don't
do
want
it.
to be.
Okay.
You're
So
right.
that,
You're
I
right.
think that's why it's a good idea to expose them to working experiences, because even if, honestly, Bali, there's so many kids that have a problem at when they're teenagers. They're like, okay, you're done with your Form 6, your A levels. What do you want to do? You have to decide. It's very difficult to decide when they have no idea of how is it actually to be a doctor, how is it actually to be a graphic designer, what's the life of it. So I feel that could be a business opportunity for someone to, or even the government to propose working experiences for kids.
Right. Now, the final question. It's not a question. It
No,
just
this is
it's a
right.
it's just a request. So to
Okay.
those who are watching, they may have interest in arts. They may,
Right.
follow you, and
Right.
probably some of them are my followers. What would be the message to the viewers, and what would you like to tell them about your
Mm-hmm.
journey, about your art, and what would be a
Right.
general message to those who are watching?
I think a general message would be, Belly, to anyone, not just someone who wants to do art. Personally, there's these three things I've always followed by. These three advices I could give would be: one, to work very hard, because you could be the most intelligent, you can be the most creative person in your group, but if you don't work hard, you're not going to get to the goal that you want to reach. And secondly is to always invest in yourself, which is always learn new things. I have a motto that every year I have to learn a minimum of one thing, and it has definitely enriched my experiences. I have so many memories, and I feel that it has really built my character as a person, and eventually it builds my character as a designer. So it could be learning a new sport, a new language, a new dance, whatever age you are. Even Bali, right now, you could take a dance class, or, try something to. We always have to be hungry for education. So that's my second one. And my third is what I am currently doing, because I am sometimes an introvert and I get nervous when I do interviews, or if I, do public speaking. So the third one would be to always do something that is out of your comfort zone, and which is me right now. Um, And that's the three things that I feel that I would really like people to, try. And I think it would make a difference in your life.
I think you did pretty well being an
Ah,
introvert. No, seriously,
thank
seriously.
you. The introvert
Now,
is in me is very excited.
right. Now, Hyacinthe,
Mhm.
all I want to say to you is that
Right.
from the start of this dialogue
Mhm.
till the end,
Right.
I'm completely mesmerized with your passion,
Thank you so
your
much.
and I really not really often people say, people like to use this term called work smart, not work hard, but I only get that you're working so hard, and at the same
That's
time
right.
when you added up a value which is saying try new things, going out of your comfort zone, or even learning new skills. And I think that is the message I think I would like to take back with me, and definitely apply that in my life. I try to apply that in my life, and I'm
I'll
sure
be
to
looking
those,
forward.
of course not is going to be the, I'm not sure if it's going to be the dance class, but something else in that line, maybe, but I really hope that
Anything could be a singing class. You
can,
never know. Or
okay.
acting, because you're so good in, doing all
Okay.
this. No, no, not your thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, you know what? We'll figure something out after this
yeah, we'll
session.
definitely
We'll
figure
figure out
something out,
what you could learn new this
right?
year.
And I know that you're not going to be coming anytime soon. And whenever you do, well, let's meet up, and
Oh,
definitely
definitely.
we will try to have more ideas, try to work in much
Yeah,
more
of course.
different things. And at the same time, when you're down, or maybe what I just got in from my food partner Desi Tadka
Mm-hmm.
is that if your family who are in KL, are they in KL at the moment? Some of your family
Yes, my
members.
my mom, my dad, they're all in family. They're all in
Okay,
KL.
great.
So
So, as a token of appreciation, Desi Tadka will be sending food to your parents, and
that's so nice.
yeah.
My dad is gonna be so happy.
So we will discuss the menu after this dialogue, and
Definitely.
I just want to say I truly am a fan, and I'm really
Thank
really
you.
really really grateful that you are doing this dialogue with me and sending
Thank
you
you.
good vibes. Hope that everything goes well soon, and we'll meet up
Right.
when you're back in KL. So thank you so
Definitely.
much once again.
Thank you,
Okay,
Bali. This was an amazing experience. I had so much fun. Bye.
thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, Hyacinthe. That was an amazing dialogue session. And a big shout out to my content partner, Be Strategic, Digital Artwork, DH Creation, Food, Desi Tadka, Video Live Streaming and Production, Mosaic Production. To those who are watching, I truly appreciate each and every single one of you watching and tuning in. This is episode number 17 of Be Positive with Bally. See you on episode number 18. Bye bye.